Good afternoon or good morning, I guess. It's not even afternoon yet. It's not even
Could
noon
be
yet.
evening,
Anyways,
depending on where they're at.
good pre-noon, everybody. Welcome to Traders Edge Crypto Live on this beautiful day, July 28th, 2025. My name is Lawton Ho. I'm joined by Benjamin Poole and Drew Dosek. We go live every single Monday to trade crypto with you live. Go ahead and leave your questions. If you want to ask questions, you can do so exclusively on the verifiedinvesting.com homepage. Ask us questions, and we will we'll look to answer them. Okay, so but first and foremost, I get that this is kind of like a forum where you're allowed to ask questions, right? We're going to try and get some trades first.
Yes.
And if you want to trade like us, we use the platform Blofin, Blofin. You can sign up exclusively through our website by scrolling to the very bottom by looking at where it says our sponsors, and you can follow along with our trades there. You'll get some bonuses for trading and signing up, and everybody wins. We also have this promotion going on with Blofin. You can get up to $300 in a deposit bonus. So that means if you put $2,000 in, you get $300 back, so $2,300. And let's say you take a trade with that and get a win. Even if you break even, you're still up about $300, right? So you can't complain about that. But anyways, guys, what are you guys seeing on the charts? Is there any potential trade setups that you see?
Yeah. Let's hop right into it. So here we go. How do I get my screen up? Let's see. All right, boom. You can see right here. This is through Blofin, as Lawton was saying. I've got an entry potential on virtual at 1.494. Price is at 1.5034. So I'm going to go ahead and put an entry for along here at 1.494. This is on Blofin virtual USDT on the futures, as you see here. So need price action to come down a little bit more, but that is where my entry is located on virtual. Ben, you have anything that you're looking at, sir?
Yeah, so check out this chart of Hyper. It's not quite up to that level yet, but it got up to 52.81 on HYPER USDT is perpetual contract. So right there, 52.80 would be a first shortable level. This thing is up decently on the trading session, so up 14%. So I'm looking to possibly enter the trade there. So if it runs through that level, it could go higher, could head all the way up to double top, right at 53.26 which would be an add level for me on Hyper. All right, so a couple different levels, a couple different stocks altcoins that we're watching. Bitcoin's actually had a decent bounce off of the lows. Oh, I'm not sure why it's not pulling up. Here we go. All right, so Bitcoin got down to 117,000 and now has bounced off that level. So $500. If it drops below 17,926, I would actually look to short Bitcoin as a continuation move, because I still think that overall Bitcoin is needing to come back in. You see this support level here at 1785. But if we start to roll over a little bit more, I would try to take advantage of that opportunity for us, basically below 118. Other than that, I'm not really seeing a ton going on. MOG USD T or USD Beam BEAM, they're all kind of down on the day. Not really a lot moving to the upside. Again, we have OPUSD, but OPUSD, this one has come in quite nicely from the open. So you got up to 87 cents and now has dropped 9%. So let's see what the 15-minute chart looks like. See if we had a topping tail or anything. No topping tail. But if it retraces, gets back up to 86 cents, I would be interested in possibly shorting it at that level. As far as a long position, I don't really have a long level until it gets back down to 74 cents. This would be a nice green bar open position or an opening candle on OP. So that could be a good level to start along. But right now it's just kind of chopping sideways. So I don't really have any levels on that. What I do like to do is go here, go to hype, and then you can go to hot. So Siren at USDT is up 23%. I was taking a look at that. The volume is pretty low on it. As you can see, it's 157,000 shares, and it's a 6-cent stock. So actually, that is not a lot of share or coins traded. So unfortunately, this isn't something that we can trade. AIDOGE, I haven't actually heard of that one. Okay.
Guys, I'm starting to get a little closer. Let me just flip over real quick, and I'll flip right back to you. Here. Oop.
I got you.
All right. Thank you, Lawton. You can see here I've got my order entry at 1.494. Price is getting very close to this now, folks. On Blowfin, you can see that price with the bid and the ask right here, displayed on the right-hand side of the screen. 1.495 is the bid. Now it just poked up just a little bit. 1.4951. And the ask is right here, 1.4952. So we're getting closer to an entry, ever so close. We're talking about 0.6 of a penny. And I'm using 1/10 of my portfolio with using 3 times leverage on this play too. Oh, got down very close to 1.495. Started to get a decent little bounce right here. Let's see if the continuation selling will come in the near term. Oh, shoot. So very close. 0.6 of a penny, folks. I'm still going to leave my order right here at 149.40. And we'll hunt for another. Sometimes that's how it is with trading. Got a great level right here, too. One that could be shown basically with a nice fib retrace from this sort of price action moving up. And we just got down right here on, this is the spot. And for those that may wonder, what's the difference with the price action here? Oh man, Virtual's getting a nice bounce now too, shoot. But yeah, so there's a little bit of price difference when we're trading derivatives. It's not trading exactly tick for tick. It's very, very close, but a nice bounce up nonetheless. Missed us by 0.6 of a penny. That's a shame. We'll have to see now if this bounces up any further. I will have to take this order off. And yeah, we're about there. If we get up, yeah, we're about there. All right, so we're gonna have to take that order off. I do have an order though still down here at 1.48. So let's go find some more. Let's go find some more trade options there. Benny boy, what do we got?
Do we have any questions? I'm not seeing.
We have some questions. I got the questions. And I see your guys' questions, and just know that we're going to look for a trade before answering these questions. And when you're asking for analysis, right, I'm not going to read out any questions that are just, can you give me analysis on blank, right? We need a little bit more, right? But let's see here. Ben has a question. Ben says, can you analyze the daily chart of Bonk and tell me whether it's forming a bull flag? The pattern looks bullish, except there were 2 sharp down days in the formation of the bull flag, thus making it appear like inside bar action. Great question. That's on Bonk.
Yeah, let me share. TradingView goes a little bit easier when you have I like TradingView a little bit more so than I do Blowfin, just for analysis.
Yeah, and Blowfin uses TradingView. It's just a smaller screen.
Correct. So Bonk, you have this nice red bar candle, and so for me, this is actually looking more bearish than bullish. Let's see about the weekly time frame. Not quite a topping tail on the weekly. If it was at the highs, this may be closer to a topping tail. But overall, you can see it's chopping in this range of 37.61 to 32.48. So if we start breaking back above and getting up to 38.04, taking out this pivot high, your next level of resistance is going to be 86. And you can see there's a nice pivot high right here at basically above 40. So that's a lot of resistance. If it breaks that level, it could run up to this red bar candle and trading at 46.30. And then you have additional resistance. Overall, if you look at it, it does look like it's a bull flag. However, you've got this big green bar candle. So now it's chop inside, big red bar candle. So for me, this is more bearish than it is bullish. So I'm actually seeing that it's likely to roll over. And then I have another trend line. Let's see if we can extend this up. So you need to notice that you've got this beautiful upsloping trend line. If you break this, it's likely to head back down and probably coming back to 24.03 area. So that's what I see on BONK.
Nice.
But as long as you've got this upsloping trend line, you still have to respect that we're in an up pattern until the support level breaks, at which point then the trend has reversed, or the probabilities dictate the trend has reversed, and then you can have a rollover.
Gotcha. Okay. If you're okay, there's a question here for you, Drew. Jalen says, why did you look to go long virtual? For me, it was touching a moving average of the Bollinger Band with a bear flag. So it seems to me more bearish than bullish.
Yeah, it could be. If we flip over, you got me here? Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Thank you. If you see, we've got a very nice extended move on the 10-minute chart. Now, we are putting in a bear flag, so you're exactly correct. But I wasn't looking in for a long-term swing trade. This big, huge fall, this cascading fall, put in a nice, solid bottom right here. And I was looking for a retrace of this green candle. If you notice on the 10-minute chart, this is a solid green candle, and since this point, price is being controlled by this green candle. Now, in the larger time frame, as I said, 100% correct. The larger time frame shows a big down move and a bear flag, but I was trying to play a more near-term opportunity with this big green candle and trying to capitalize off the strength that this candle is implying on the price action. So I do, as you see down here on my chart, if I flip over to the daily, I have another level on virtual right here created from this trend line from pivot all the way over to this pivot here on June 22nd. And that's going to be a more solid level. But if we form a bear flag on this daily any longer, that could weaken this level. Because basically you got to think of a bear flag or a bull flag with the price of the stock or the cryptocurrency gaining momentum. Think of it like a race, right? And so if you're on a race, you run this leg of the race, and then this is the water break time right here. This is the time to get a snack, eat a banana, get a protein bar, get rehydrated, and then the stock or crypto can then continue moving on that pattern that's displayed. So basically there should be some chop in this area, but if this matures out, that should then give momentum for further downside on virtuals.
Gotcha.
Look at Tau. Tau getting a nice bounce too, just from falling over. And look at this. This is a good example of that too. Look at that bear flag. We had a nice pop towards the end of that bear flag, but then the bear flag movement down, it ended up taking the strength and then pushing price lower on the charts. And it just came right here to the next support area, highlighted right here with this inclining trend line. But a nice bounce up there for Bitensor.
Yeah. All right. Let's so are you guys looking at anything else right now? I know, Ben, your level's still not quite there yet, but Drew, I wasn't sure if you were looking at anything else.
No, I did take away.
Trade.
I did take the other order off the table for virtual. We are starting to bear flag. Let's see though for stack or STX. This crypto is just creeping down and is starting to interest me. Let's see what I can find on it. I've got a level. It's a little bit further away, but man, it's getting into a spot right now with this consolidation. It very well could bounce. Let's see if we have some little more downside. You see here, I've got a support area at 78.9 cents. That's not that far away. It's only about 2 cents away, 1.5 cents away on stacks. So we'll see if stacks keep selling off. that should give us another opportunity for quick bounce play on a cryptocurrency.
Yep. All right, cool. So if you guys aren't doing anything close, let me get into some of these questions. I know you guys have a lot of questions again. This is primarily focused on trying to find a day trade. However, if you have questions, you can always come to the AMA after this, ask your question. But let's go to the next question. Okay. So John says, hey guys, Gareth mentioned the topping tail on Bitcoin on the daily, but as you can see, there's also a bottoming tail on the daily. Does the appearance of one negate the other, or does it depend on price action? I don't know if you want to take a look at that, Ben.
So let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. I don't see a bottoming tail. My guess is you're considering this a bottoming tail, this candle right here. So what we want to do is first take a look at the distance it has been from the lows, right? And as you can see, it was lower here, and really it's been 15 days, 16 days. So on a technical basis, this can't be a bottoming tail anyways. And then let me do the measurement to see if it were at the lows, would it be a bottoming tail? So if everything else does fit the criteria, right? There is a lot of buying pressure in this candle. Absolutely. So the tail has to be greater than 50%, which it is. And then the closing price has to be in the top 25%, which it is. So really the thing that it's missing is the fact that it's still at the high end of the chart. And so it does have a lot of buying pressure. However, it's still not a bottoming tail due to the fact that it's only extended 15 days. So the topping tail on the chart, which is this candle right here, which is at the highs of the chart, actually plays out and is more favorable for a continuation move to the downside. So what would negate that? It would be any daily close above $123,237.15. That would negate the topping tail, and at which point this would be a bull flag instead of a bear flag, and then it could take the price of Bitcoin higher.
Hey guys, real quick, let me jump over to my screen. I have this level on stacks coming up. Oop, thank you. I've got 80.5 cents for an entry for 1/10 long. Stacks is starting to flush on down under the 81 cent mark. So we're about 3/10 away. And I'm sorry to interrupt there, Ben. Want to flip back over to you. But wanted these folks to at least see I got an opportunity for us to go long 1/10 position if we get a little bit more selling. Now Stacks just popped over 81 cents. But I'm looking at 80.5 cents, folks, 80.5 cents on STX USDT.
All right, let's see if we can get that.
All right. So, yeah, sorry, Ben. Let's go back to the Bitcoin while we wait for this because we've seen these come very close, and Bitcoin really rules the roost in this crypto world. So this is extremely important to get a good feeling on what's going on with Bitcoin.
So here's one of the reasons that you got to bounce off of this support level. You had this upsloping trend line, which connects this $111,980 and this 100 slightly higher. So you connect these two pivot points, and then you bring this all the way in here. And this is where price action got support. So you got to respect it until that trend line actually breaks to the downside. Once it does, you have this down sloping trend line right here, or this pivot high, which is the recent or the previous all-time high, which is $111,922. So that's where you're going to catch support again if this upsloping trend line breaks. So I know I got a lot of trend lines on here. However, all this until it breaks is support, but you've got this upsloping trend line that Bitcoin did break below. And so now it's trying to break back above. And until it does, it's resistance. So that's my chart on Bitcoin.
Makes sense. And the interesting part about that too, if I can add, Bitcoin put in that daily topping tail and has since just chopped sideways, right? But still, if you take away that topping tail, that's just bullish consolidation. Now that is bullish consolidation at the top of a chart. So those generally do fail. But I mean, just like with odds and percentages, it's one of those games where if we have an 80% chance of something happening, there's still 20% chance that it could happen, the opposite way. So it's a tough, it's given us mixed signals basically right up the top, and it's hanging out there for quite a while. I thought we were going to have a more decent pullback on Bitcoin before now, but it's resilient to say the least.
It really is.
Because you look at some of the alts have all pulled back 10, 20% from their recent push up. Bitcoin hasn't pulled back, but what, a percent, maybe a 2%?
Well, from the highs, it had it's almost a 7% pullback. So it's not huge, but it's not terrible.
It's not 20 like some of these.
It's not 20%. Well, typically Bitcoin isn't quite as volatile, but we still want to see a little bit more volatility in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. You guys ready for another question?
Yeah, let's go.
Fire away.
All right. Next question. Let me look for a good one. What are Bitcoin things? Okay. Question here from, let's say Matt. Matt says, hi, can you please take a look at the intraday of Pudgy Penguins? I'm currently in a short position, and I wonder if I should cut it off for a loss, or do you believe it should come down intraday? So which way does Pudgy Penguins favor intraday?
Intraday today?
Intraday. Yep.
I would say more downside. Notice this. And Ben, didn't you have a trade on this recently? Wasn't that right?
Nope, I did not.
Okay. I see this big red candle right here on the charts. And while this is a great move up on the daily chart, this big red candle price still has yet to close outside of it. You notice this candle, this candle, this candle, and what looks like today's price is all closing within this red candle. So that's showing me that this red candle is controlling price moving forward. Until price breaks and closes above this, then the likelihood that Pudgy Penguin will start curling over is higher than going up. But we'll see if that pattern changes. If I flip to the weekly, all we have now is basically we don't have any consolidation. It's still really immature to say what could happen. But notice the pattern of Pudgy Penguins move up. It's similar to this. We've had beautiful consolidation here. Then when we did push higher, only 1 day of kind of pausing right here at the pivots. Similar situation here, 1 day or 1 week rather of pausing, and then a push up, and now we have some sort of pulling down. But notice the RSI extended. I don't have a lot of data on this one Coinbase chart for Pudgy Penguins, but at this state, it looks like it favors more of near-term downside than to upside. Got first area of test of support has already been tested with this curl over here. It touched that trend line, so this trend line could again provide support. Currently around 3.7 cents on the chart. Next area to watch for support would be a fall down, let's say under tomorrow's price at 3.3 cents. So 3.7 and 3.3 are the next levels of support on the move down for Pudgy Penguins.
It really depends on what your overall outlook is, because you've said intraday. And so couple different factors play into the question. What's your position size? What's your average price? Where you plan on adding, where your exit strategy is, where's your take profit? So although we can look at the intraday and say, all right, well, based on the daily time frame, it favors a move to the downside. If you're like way over leveraged and you're really far out of the money, depends on how much pain you're feeling. Can you release that position to then get into a more potentially successful trade? So a lot goes into it. So when you guys are asking questions, can you look at intraday and tell me when or if I should cut my loss? That doesn't really give us any insight into any of your position. And so we can't answer that, unfortunately. That's a situation that's really dependent on all those factors that I mentioned.
And Ben's exactly right, because I don't know what the horizon is. You could be wanting to hold this, for 10 years. And so there's a lot of elements that go into it. Ben may say, let's just say Bitcoin, he says it's going to go down to 100,000. Let's just say today, I say it's going up to 130. We both could be right eventually, right? But it depends on the time frame. That's 100% right, Ben. If for intraday, though, I'd be monitoring this with pudgy penguins, zooming in closer on the charts. We got a 10-minute time frame on pudgy penguins, and notice it broke this declining trend line that I've got pivoted from back here July 26th at 3:40 in the morning. That pivot to pivot, that area has been broken. We have not yet confirmed underneath here. So this is going to be the area of contention today for pudgy, right at this 0.41 cents. But if we are to remain beneath that, the next area intraday support is going to be down here on this declining trend line, which will be currently above current price, right around 4 cents. So this is a serious area for pudgy. If it's going to remain this breakdown, see if a bear flag forms. And if we have a bear flag form, then we're coming down to this next support area right here. Basically 0.4 cent or 4 cents.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Gotcha. I'm assuming STX might be off the table.
Yeah, shoot, it didn't get down to my level.
Yeah, I mean, it had like a 1% bounce. I was watching from its lows.
Yeah,
But I don't know if you'd still be interested in that. I mean, ruling will be on for another 15 minutes, but
is it already that fast? Holy cow!
I know 12:15. I know, and we got another show. Well, I got another show at 12:30. So
this area is chopped. So let's just leave it hanging for the time being. I'll go ahead and leave that order out. I do like if we do start bear flagging here on STX, that next spot's going to be down here, basically a pierce of the 80-cent mark, and that's going to be some.
We got that order at
let me flip. At,
0.805.
That's correct.
0.805. Yeah,
that's correct. Yep.
On STX for a long. All right. Let's see. Let me get to another question since we are not in a trade.
Nothing's really moving right now, actually.
Yeah.
Right? It's chopping.
Dweep says, hey, Ben, I see a topping tail on Ethereum on the 4-hour chart. Wow. We're just picking time frames. Can you please confirm, and is the 4-hour chart relevant for a topping tail? Thanks.
All right. 4-hour time frame topping tail. Looks like there's a lot of different. So this looks like it could have been the candle wasn't big enough, or the body of the candle wasn't big enough to be a topping tail. This one couldn't have been. It wasn't the highs. So
I'm talking about that one right there.
Guess is you're talking about this one. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do is I'll take the Fibonacci retracement tool, and no, unfortunately, no. Let me go ahead and zoom in and show you why. So a lot of people who trade crypto like to trade on the 4-hour time frame, and the more often people trade on a particular time frame, the more human psychology, human emotions, and stuff like that are inside of that candle. And so, yes, absolutely, if this were a topping tail, it would be a great topping tail, and even if it's on the 4-hour time frame. So now look at this. It is at the highs of the charts. The wick itself is in the top 25 or top 50%, as you can see, because here's the 50% Fibonacci retracement. Look at the closing price. If this were a red candle, the closing price would be right here at 38.79. However, because it's a green candle, the closing price is 38.92. So unfortunately, this does not qualify as a topping tail. It was a good sell candle for the 4-hour topping tail on Ethereum. As you can see, there's a decent rollover. What I am noticing in the charts, though, let's zoom out and go to the daily time frame. You've got this low pivot at 2,500. You've got this pivot at 39.58. You got this. So you take these two pivot points, draw this trend line. As you can see here, support at 3,500, and then your next level of support, if it drops, is 37.48. This would be the fourth hit. And so it's about a 50-50 chance on whether or not it's going to be, it's going to break. Right now, Ethereum is in an uptrend. As soon as it breaks this, then the trend has broken. And then you can look for downside targets right around $3,500 again. It was another hit. And then if it wants to continue lower, you're looking at probably $3,300.
Beautiful.
All
That
right,
Ethereum
nice.
chart. That Ethereum chart's incredible, guys.
I was just curious to see if this would be a daily topping tail. It would not be, because the body itself is greater than, or it's above the 50% mark, which means that the wick, because it's a red bar candle, will be less than 50% of the entirety of the candle. So it can't be a daily topping tail either. It can be a great reversal candle, but unfortunately, even no matter where it closes, it cannot be a topping tail, not an official topping tail.
Unless that thing oddly just runs up tremendously, makes a new high, and then reverses course all today. Yeah, it gets that wick extended.
Yeah, if you got up to 39.73. Today went all the way up 37.93 and then came back in and closed below 38.23. Yes, it could be a topping tail on the daily time frame on Ethereum.
Guys, take note of that too. What Ben just did, he really, I'd say he's our topping tail guru here. Where I remember first coming aboard, we would look at some charts, and Ben always, he measures it just like that, like with the fib retraces. It gives you the 50% trace retrace right there. So it's a method he can use to quickly find out whether or not we've got daily topping tails, daily bottoming tails, or 10-minute, whatever it be. But just notice what he did there too. So in preparing, let's just hypothetically say Ethereum's going to run up that much, which I really doubt it would, but at least he would already know, okay, this is what price it needs to get to. And then price needs to retreat back, obviously, to get down under there for that topping tail to be placed. So that's great
Which
stuff.
would be an epic sell-off.
Yes.
If that happened, yeah, time to load up on shorts on Ethereum, like load up.
Yeah.
If that happened.
But I guess my point is it's good to be able to know how to prepare. And
Sure,
that's one way
absolutely.
to do it. Yes.
Cool. All right. Let's take a couple more questions since we have like about 9 minutes left. Let's see this one. Jalen says, what would be a good entry price for a swing on SEI? What would be a good price for an entry for a swing on SEI?
For a swing long on SEI?
Just a swing. I'm assuming is a long. I'm not sure.
Well, the first thing that I see is an upsloping trend line.
Mm-hmm.
My eyes just kind of drawn to it. Take the low pivot at 1587, and then let's draw this up. Connect it through this low pivot at 2485. So price action has tried to get below. You see how it respected this upsloping trend line? So what this means, or what it's telling me, is if we close below this upsloping trend line, this would be the fourth hit with a pierce. You would want to wait for a confirmation. So a continuation move, essentially, if it closes, let's say it closed right here at 32.81. You'd want a continuation move. So you want it to close lower than that on the next candle or next couple candles. And that would confirm that you're moving down. So swing long, you're going to have some support here at 25.62. This is a low pivot. And then if it goes down a little bit lower, you've got this green bar candle. One thing that I like to do with altcoins is take a fib retracement. So you take this low pivot, take this high pivot, and then see if it lines up with any support levels. So 786 Fibonacci retracement is right inside of this green bar candle. So this would be, for me, it would be my first target of a long position. And look at this. You've got this nice pivot high right here. You got all this price action, this pivot high right here. So as it comes back down, it gets into $20 or 20.79, you're going to find a lot of support in SEI.
Cool.
If you wanted to start at 25.44 and then possibly add to the position at 20.79, that would be an opportunity for you as well. Especially if your overall outlook or your horizon if this is one of the altcoins that you want to hold long term, dollar cost averaging into it isn't a bad thing.
Very well done there, Ben.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. Let's see here. Next question, and this will be for Drew. Hey guys, I was observing a bullish consolidation on CRV USDT on the daily time frame, and I went long on the 26th of July when it broke out, but on the next day it reversed the whole move. Is this an example of a failed breakout? If yes, then should we short that now?
I don't see that as of now being a failed breakout. So let me show my chart real quick. No, what you've got going on here, you see with CRV, we basically have a beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? That it's broken out of. So that's what my eyes spot first on this chart. And then let's just get the parameters straight to give ourselves an estimate targeted measured move that brings price all the way back up to its double tops over here. Let me go back. So price has been way, way, way higher on CRV, but we're starting to get into breakout mode from what I'm seeing here. So basically with CRV, we've got the inverse head and shoulders pattern with a targeted measured move up here, which almost got to. It didn't quite get to it, but the measured move is 1.299. And then price started curling over. So that tells me that basically any sort of pullbacks are buying opportunities until we get back down to this declining trend line right here. That declining trend line would be solid support. Notice how it intersects with the 786 retrace number, but then also the 50% retrace lines up perfectly with these pivots. And if I string that out over here, notice how this zone, basically in between the 0.5 and the 618, has got a lot of chop right here. So we've already tagged the 382, this 0.5, 50% retrace, and the 618. That zone should be a decent buying opportunity for CRV USD to move up higher and eventually tag this $1.29 mark here on CRV. So it could have a fashion. It depends on really how it gets there, right? We could have a situation where we come down to this zone and then move up higher, up there to that measured move, or we could have consolidation right here. Depends really on Bitcoin, what it does. And it may accomplish hitting that measured move already. And the reason I say that is because if you look at XRP had a similar situation where it broke out of an inverse head and shoulders, and it never retraced before hitting the measured move. You notice it just marched right through resistance all the way up, breaking through the previous all-time highs, and then hit the measured move, and then started pulling back after doing so. But we're just not with CRV. We haven't had a pullback either. So we very well could accelerate up to this measured move target. But right now with the staggering in Bitcoin and the other alts have already pulled back, it's kind of a 50-50 on which this CRV should have already pulled back in essence to retrace, and it hasn't done that. So it's kind of giving me mixed signals there too. It should be pulling back with the overbought situation, but it could work that out by consolidating itself sideways. But ultimately, that is the buy zone if price pulls back in 0.82 to 0.74 on the
It aligns
chart.
with a lot of support in that area as well. If you notice on your chart, you got a
Yes.
ton of support in that area.
Yes.
However, I will say that, and this goes with all altcoins, if Bitcoin pulls back, all the altcoins are going to pull back. It's
Yep.
kind of how it is. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, we saw like Bitcoin had that sell candle last week, and then you saw XRP fall like 10% in a day, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like fall like massively in a day. So yeah, it's generally that's going to happen. Guys,
Yeah,
two more minutes.
All right,
Two more
one more
minutes. I
question.
don't know if you want to talk about anything specifically. Let me see here. If there's anything good. Okay, Fahim says STX is coming in. Are you still trading it?
STX, let's see where my level is. Now we're getting close. Well, we briefly made a new low, but have since started bouncing up. And you said we got 1 minute. Is that right?
Two. We got 2 minutes.
Not too much time to maneuver. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make an executive decision. We're going to take that off the table. I was hoping to get a flush down into it. Basically, let me give you guys a game plan for this potential trade if it does hit later on. So I zoom back out, and this.
Oh, you're on my charts.
Oop,
Yeah, let me move it. Let me switch it.
There we go. All right.
All right. So if price comes down into this range, you see if I zoom in, I'm on the 1 hour chart of STX. We do have chops, so I wouldn't blame you for wanting to get in this area where I was targeting at the 0.805. But if this goes wrong, I always have to prepare for that too. If my trade goes wrong, where's the next level that will catch support? Well, we do have a lot of pivots right here, right? Basically 0.5 cents lower. So we were going to be getting in at 80.5 and basically about 0.5 cents lower at 79.4. We're starting to get into pivots. That would be a great place to add. And then if you go down a little bit further, right around 79, we're likely going to be getting priced very close to this trend line. So I would likely add to the position every 0.5 cents lower all the way to this trend line, which is at 78.2 cents. And then we should have a tremendous bounce. You're already in oversold situation right now near term. These can stay oversold for longer than normal. So just because it's oversold doesn't mean it's going to just rocket right back up. So just beware, have some staggered entries right here, but this is a great support trend line that I do think you should see a decent bounce on stacks if it does get tagged.
All right.
And I'll be looking for about 1 to 1.5% on that bounce.
So this is just a day trade. Keep that in mind, you guys.
Correct. Yes. Thank you, Ben. Yes.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that's about it. It is 12:15. Not sure if there's anything else you guys wanted to say before we head out. Anything?
Yeah.
No. You got to watch the Bitcoin chart. I mean, I think that's the biggest takeaway from everything is if Bitcoin consolidates, starts to break above some of these all-time highs again, then all these altcoins will start to rise again because the Bitcoin dominance chart should be dropping quite nicely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Unfortunately, couldn't get a trade. Got real close to a couple potential trades. But thanks for joining us. Thank you so much to Blowfin for sponsoring us. If you have more questions, I'm going to go live in 14 minutes for an AMA, so you can just ask them there. So you can just ask all the rest of your questions there, okay? Anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you here shortly. All right.
And make sure you like and subscribe, you guys.
Yes.
Yep. Like and subscribe. Yep, to the Verified Investing YouTube channel.
There you go.
So we'll see
Awesome.
you guys later.
Yeah,
See
take care, guys.
you guys.